Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Here we are again. I'm in the same place, and you're probably in the same place too. But there is one difference. Have you noticed that most of the time when I do chapels, I'm wearing a white shirt with a collar and everything? Well, look at the shirt I've got now. That's certainly not the shirt I've been doing chapels in. Well, the reason why I'm wearing this is because, boy, I have been out in the backyard and I have been working. We've been putting in flowers, and there's like a little wall that we hang flowers from. I've got my bird feeders out there. I love birds, I got to tell you. I got bird feeders out there. I've got bird feeders for hummingbirds, and every morning I like to look out and see if I can see the birds and recognize which birds are which birds, that kind of thing. I don't know if you've ever studied different types of birds, but they're really fun, all the different colors and shapes. But anyway, I wanted to let you know that I just love being outside in nature. It's so wonderful, all the trees, and the weather's been really nice the last couple of days. And even when it's gotten rainy, it's still kind of nice. So I thought maybe because Earth Day was last week, I'd read you two stories, and I want you to pick out which one you like the most. Okay, here comes the first story. Then God said, "Let the waters below the heavens be gathered into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and he gathered of the waters he called the seas, and he saw it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth sprout vegetation." That's all the green stuff. "Plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit after their kind, with seed on them and on the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed after their kind. That's kind of like when you open up an apple or an orange and you see seeds inside. And trees bearing fruit like apple trees and orange trees, with seed in them after their kind. And God saw that it was good. And God made the two great lights, the greater light that govern the day, we call it the sun, and the lesser light that govern the night, and that would be the moon. He made the stars also. And God placed them in the expanse of the heavens to give light on earth, and to govern the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the waters teem with swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly." Oh, there's my birds. "Let birds fly above the earth in the open expanse of the heavens." And God created the great sea creatures and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarmed after their kind, and every winged bird after its kind. And God saw it was good. That's kind of like all the fishes and stuff in the ocean and all the flying animals in the air. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures after their kind. Cattle, okay, and creeping things." Ooh, and I don't know, you like creepy things? I don't know. "And creepy things, and beasts of the earth after their kind." And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after their kind. Beasts would be kind of like, elephants and giraffes and dogs and cats and all that kind of thing. Earth after their kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creeps on the ground after its kind. I'll bet some of you really do like bugs, don't you? Anyway. And God saw that it was good. Okay. That's the first story. Now, listen, here comes the second story. "Let the earth below and the set heavens be gathered into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and gathered the waters he called the seas. And God saw that the land was all cluttered up, and the trees were having trouble growing, and the water was so bad that it was really hard to drink, and nobody really wanted to drink it. Then God said, let the earth sprout vegetations and plants yielding seed and fruit trees and fruit of their kind with seed in them. And the earth brought forth vegetation of all kinds, trees bearing fruit with seed in them. And God saw that the fruit started to die out because the water was really bad and the air was really thick. And so the plants were having a hard time growing, and the apples and the oranges were kind of withered, and the seeds weren't very strong. And God made the two great lights, the sun during the day and the light of the moon at night and the stars, but people couldn't see them because the smog from everything, the air was so thick with all the bad stuff that you couldn't even see the sun, or you couldn't see the moon, and certainly you couldn't see the stars. And the waters were teeming with living creatures. Well, unfortunately, the living creatures weren't living in the water either, because the water was so polluted that not a whole lot could live there. And the air was so thick with smog and stuff that, well, the birds couldn't really fly all that much. And I'm afraid a lot of the birds in the oceans and a lot of birds and a lot of animals, I don't think there are too many birds in the ocean. Anyway, a lot of the fish were beginning to die out, and a lot of the birds in the air are going to be dying out. And let's see, what was the other thing? Oh, yeah, all the living creatures and their kind, the cattle and the creeping things and all the beasts of the earth and all that. And yeah, and I'm afraid none of those were doing really well either, because they all need to have really healthy vegetation, plants to eat, and they all really need clean air and clean water, just like we do as humans. And well, that's story number 2. So, which story do you think is the best story? Which one do you like the most? I'm gonna guess you all like number 1. The one where God kept saying after all of this that it was really good, because it certainly wasn't good, the second one. Well, I'm thinking, if God thinks that all of that is good, I guess we really should be taking care of it, shouldn't we? I mean, if the animals God considers good, we should be taking care of the animals. And if all the plants and the trees and all that, that's really God's goodness to us as well, then we should be treating them really well too. And I mean, even the air and the water, God created all of those things, and he said they were good. So I guess we should try to keep them as close to what they were created to be: good, clean water and clear air. And I guess it would almost be like if somebody made you this wonderful birthday cake and then rolled it around in the dirt for a while and then gave it to you. Yuck. I think everybody would want to have the original birthday cake. So, since Earth Day was last week and we're starting a new week, maybe one thing we can do this week is look around, even in our own yards and in front of our homes, and just make sure that we're not part of making story number 2 come true, that we want to be part of number 1, so that when God looks at what we've done with the earth, God can say, good. In fact, there's a phrase called good and faithful servant, and that's what we would want to be. So let's try to do everything we can to keep everybody healthy for sure. And the best way to keep everybody healthy is to keep things around us like God created it: clean air, clean water, learn how to live with the animals. I think we'll all be okay. And I hope this message you'll consider good. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Oh, I got to tell you, I'm missing you, but I'll be looking at you either through this screen. I see you over there. Or maybe, who knows? I'll keep my fingers crossed and keep praying, everybody. Bye-bye.